Hi, friends. I'm Zach.
I'm Mitch.
And we are an excellent little podcast.
Presenting you a little movie podcast starring Zach and Mitch.
Mitch, I think we're doing a podcast.
Jesus Christ, Zach. I thought we were having a conversation. We're reviewing M3GAN.
Thank you for staying with not one bit, but two.
Yeah. So M3GAN brought to you by Studio Universal, directed by Gerard Johnston, screenplay by Akela Cooper, and story by James Wan.
Yeah. What did you think of Universal's new take on a child's toy that comes to life and is a serial killer? A completely new thing for Universal.
Oh yeah, not Chucky or anything, but oh yeah, this film had all the makings of a James Wan film, and you see it in the story. But I gotta give credit to Gerard Johnston for adding that little campy style that we haven't seen, because I'm sorry folks, this film was pure satire. It really was.
Oh yeah.
What about this director screenplay?
I don't think the marketing team knew exactly what they had on their hands when they were marketing this movie until like about halfway through the marketing push.
Yeah,
because like it seemed so serious with the trailers in the beginning, and then all of a sudden these later trailers have seen a little bit more upbeat. But you really do not understand until you're in the theater just how different in tone and what satire this actually brings until you're sitting down in the theater. So actually props to this team for knowing what they had and going with it. I will say there are hits and misses, but like they knew what they were doing and the marketing team didn't. So.
Yeah. Brief summary is a robotics engineer at a toy company builds a lifelike doll that begins to take on a life of its own.
Are we sure that this isn't Chucky or Child's Play?
Zach, split up the episode.
All right. So welcome, my friends, to Little Movie Podcast. We kind of are going to split this episode into, as we usually do, but for our new friends, we split it up into 3 areas. We have our non-spoiler section where we go into cast performances, non-spoilerly things. Then we move on to our review section where Mitch will wonderfully split up our different tiers of reviews. And then we'll go ahead into our spoiler section where we'll dig into those really juicy, bloody details.
Yeah, but as Zach mentioned, and he did that beautifully, we're going to enter our non-spoiler section. So Zach, could I start, please?
Yeah. What are your first thoughts on M3GAN?
So this film has no business of being good, but I enjoyed the fuck out of this movie. I mean, and the audience...
We're PG-13 here, my friend.
I said the F-bomb one time.
That's you're right.
Yeah, but hey, I will say the audience in our theater was the most excited and like ecstatic audience that we've had since we started this podcast. Period. Amen. They were laughing. They were busting guts. This was a fun time. I'm just like, because I read reviews. I'm like, I don't know what I'm going to get into, but I enjoyed every minute of this film. I really, really loved M3GAN. I did, but what'd you think?
Yeah, similar to you, I did something that I normally don't do, which is look at like a few reviews before a movie. Even when I was set up for like what I should be expecting, it still took me completely by surprise. This movie is better than it should be. And it really comes down to a lot of different things, but mainly let's start talking about the cast. To bring in.
Yeah, Allison Williams plays Gemma, the aunt of another character. I'm normally not a big fan of Allison Williams. I enjoyed her in Get Out. She did the Peter Pan Live bit, which she was fine. To me, it was just a normal Allison Williams performance. She still did fine. I didn't hate it. I just felt like there were times she felt just kind of there, but the majority of the time I'm like, okay, I ship what she's trying to do. She's trying to be that motherly figure / I'm obsessed with work kind of person. But I enjoyed her performance. I just felt that there were some parts where I wanted a little bit more. What'd you think?
Yeah, I would say that there were a couple of more wooden scenes from her compared to some of the other casts.
Yeah.
But I still feel like she still did a proper job with the role. Like, I think she doing the fish out of water character is always one of the harder characters to do as an actor, I feel like, because you have so much indecision, decisiveness with that kind of a character, especially like taking on the role of a mother when you were just a
working,
worker.
Yeah.
So like it's destiny being thrust upon you, and it's always a hard character to play, but I think she actually did a decent job with it.
Okay.
But the next character that I really actually enjoyed is actually Violet McGraw playing
Katie.
Katie. I really enjoyed her as Katie. It always seems like we've had a bunch of run of like really good child actors that we've been seeing lately.
I will agree 100%.
And she's no different. It's definitely a more reserved performance. Like when we were talking earlier, I kind of compared her to like a Wednesday Addams a bit. But the amount of trauma that character goes through, it completely lends itself to a more shut down character. And it leads more credence to how she opens up with the specific character that she does open up. So it gives that really good contrast.
Yeah, I will agree with you 100%. You pretty much nailed everything on the coffin. I feel like she also brought that balance between trauma and recovery from that trauma that a lot of child actors and actresses just can't do at that age, because I think the character's 9, but so she's in that 9 or 10 range. So for her to do something like that that's solid.
That's really
That's a feat.
pleasant.
But let's talk about the title character, M3GAN, played by two people.
Yes. So
There's a voice.
We have our voice character, our voice actress, which is
Jenna Davis. Jinx.
Well, so let's go ahead and talk about Jenna first, I think. A very
creepy,
very by the book AI voice, I feel like,
which was
but
necessary.
That's the point.
Yeah.
And she does still give her own stylistic interpretation of it.
Yes.
It's still very Alexa-y, but still very she has points as she's learning that like the voice starts to become a little more natural.
It's insane, right?
Which is nice.
You knew I was trying. Yeah. He's not wrong, because at first when you meet M3GAN, it's very monotone, it's very to the point, very straight. But as she develops into this more AI kind of deal, it really starts to bring down to earth kind of tone of style, and you notice that in the trailers.
Yeah,
it starts to really be like, oh wow, this robot has something behind it, and it gets really creepy at the end. So bravo to Jenna.
But if we want to talk about creepiness,
the dance,
the physicality, coming from our stand-in, who is played really well by Amy Donald. What did you think of Annie Donald's physical performance?
That dance. Oh man. If there is something that we haven't seen, is for an actress or actor to actually embody a robot in this style. Because we haven't seen that ever. I mean, yeah, you can be like, oh, Robin Williams did in Bicentennial Man, but
Terminator.
Like, but this it felt like an artificial intelligence doll. To me,
roughly.
It
did. It took a little longer for me to buy it, admittedly. But they did do the really. This doesn't come from them. This comes from This doesn't come from Annie, but for special effects, they did a really good job of the uncanny valley of steering into the uncanny valley of the doll. But the physical performance brought by Annie, I felt, was really, really well done in terms of, because there are a lot of times where she had to be a lot more robotic.
Yes.
That you could tell that it actually was the actress doing the movement, which was phenomenal. Like near the end of the movie, I won't go into detail, but there's a trick with lighting that they do.
Yeah. I picked up on that.
And it was freaky, but it was good.
It definitely great cinematography on that one. I think we probably even,
but like really well done physical performance from Annie.
Oh, for sure. So there's our cast. We just have one more quick non-spoilerly thing.
Which we kind of alluded to at the beginning.
This movie makes fun of itself.
Oh yeah, but like in terms of also, it's a lot of satire in terms of like satire like commentary of specifically how technology and child development go hand in hand in our current generation.
Yeah.
And how it affects. And it's actually a really kind of wonderful case study. Like, it's like as if like there was like multiple movies kind of going on in one movie.
Oh, yeah.
And it's a really interesting case study almost. I don't know. What do you think of all that?
Especially if you're talking about like kids and screen time and the internet and everything, and how they're like, oh my gosh, like, I'm just around these toys all the time. What happens if it gets taken away or any of that?
And then you kind of get into like the whole trauma of, I won't again kind of go into like the spoilers
other stuff,
of it, but like it gets into like, you know, the trauma of loss, the trauma of like setting change right away. It deals with a whole lot of things. And it actually succeeds with that, and then you add on the satire of
it's a freaking killer doll
of a killer doll, and it's, to be honest, it did what the Child's Play reboot wanted to do,
but it failed.
To do. This succeeded and did so much better.
Even though Mark Hamill voiced Chucky,
which again, Mark Hamill's performance actually wasn't too bad.
I enjoyed it, yeah.
But the story was just not there for it.
No, not even close.
But this, I feel like the unknownness of it and the clean slateness of it actually kind of helped its story.
Oh, absolutely.
But don't get me wrong, it also had a bit of like lulls in the story too.
Oh, for sure.
Because near the beginning, I feel like it kind of took a while for the gears to get going, and I kind of felt like I was just kind of like, okay, let's kind of move on. Let's get moving, giddy up here. And then every now and again, like it would get going, and then it would kind of stop. So like it kind of ran into kind of a little bit of that, but overall, I still thought it was pretty good, which kind of leads into our review, right?
Yeah. So my turn. So Zach mentioned that I'll split up the review and how we do it here, because we do it very differently here. Most people do like 3 stars, 2 stars, whatever. Here we do it a lot differently. We have 3 categories and 2 quiet categories that we only bring out for special occasions. Lowest category is we feed it to the dog Jazz, who's over there resting, meaning we didn't enjoy the film, but we definitely recommend you still try to see it, whether it's film, streaming, rent, whatever. Still try to see it, form your own opinion, but we didn't like it at all, period. Next category is needs to cook a little more, meaning we didn't really like it, but we also didn't hate it. We just thought it was kind of meh, and we thought it needed a script change, a director change, a change in actor, a change in maybe some extra studio interference, maybe. Who knows?
More or less, who knows?
Yeah, absolutely. Our next category is we ate it up, meaning we enjoyed the heck out of this movie, and we definitely recommend you see it in theaters, but if you have to wait till streaming, that's fine. All right, Zach.
Yeah.
You go first.
Why the fuck did I eat this movie up? Like, genuinely. Okay, like, that's what it was. I fully came into this movie of, okay, this is either going to be a terribly mismarketed movie because it's a January movie, which is where a lot of either no confident or we don't know what the fuck this is kind of a movie is put.
And we're basically where if you want a box office successful movie, you don't put it in January.
You don't put it in January. Not that being said, there have been box office success in January.
Scream last year,
but it comes down to the studio just doesn't have confidence in for it. So where do you put it? January. So to me, this movie had no business being an Eat It Up, but this was great. Like I think this movie actually would have rocked in October if they put it in.
So the movie is over. me and Zach both have tremendous smiles on our faces, and credits start to roll, and Zach starts to look up if there's any post-credit scenes. And I look at him, and I say, literally what he said, this film has no business being eaten up, but I ate it up. I mean,
and it
from
makes me
everything,
yeah. I'm not going to lie. It makes me genuinely want M3GAN and Chucky to do a movie together. Whether they're fighting each other or they're teaming up, doesn't matter. Like, and you don't even have to change the title of Chucky. It's just called Child's Play.
So, like, if I had to choose between a sequel to Chucky, whether it's like the mainstream or the reboot, and a sequel to M3GAN, I would choose M3GAN.
I would choose M3GAN as well.
But yeah, there you go, my friends. We both enjoyed M3GAN. Yeah,
God.
we both ate it up. So that means, Zach, would you like to sound the alarm?
Well, we gotta, for the friends
Oh,
that
yes.
don't want any spoilers. That's okay. But if you do want to head out right now, please make sure we leave us a like. We click that subscribe button and that notification bell icon.
And if you want to get close and personal, email us at elpodcastmz@gmail.com. And don't forget to follow our other sites, such as Twitch, EL Podcast, TikTok, EL Podcast 2, whatever you want to see our content. But it's time, friends. Sound that alarm, Zach.
Yeah, absolutely. I got nothing for this one. For the
No alarm?
no alarm for this one. It's just a silent but deadly killer of this
All
one.
right. Let's see. Let me go to our laptop here.
Yeah. Mitch.
What happened?
Why is the file corrupted?
Oh, shit.